Hey all, Snowflake here. Patch notes, or preliminary patch notes for 5.0 got posted up this morning, and I wanted to go through them with you. Alright, so let's check them out. So, it has posting for the trailer in there. Also mentions that Eden's Gate is going to be in 5.01, and there's going to be some other things added onto the game a little bit later. So the first thing that they do is they go over like just the table of contents of everything that's going to be actually be in here. New city of Crystarium is going to be added. Elmore is going to be added. That's pretty much a given. New fields have been added. Lakeland. This place, I'm assuming that place is right outside of Elmore. And then we also have this other place. I have no idea what to call that place. El Meg, all these other different zones. So there's 4 different zones that are going to be popping up. I don't know if that's going to be the extent of all the dungeons. Who knows? We'll find out. New city and field atherites, blah blah blah. Then we start going over the quests, and they have this picture of Minfilia right here, which that's weird. To be honest, I don't think that's Minfilia. I think Minfilia is actually Heidelin, and Heidelin's been watching over us the whole time. And this person in darkness below her, I'm thinking that's the darkness primal, whatever his name is. I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's him, and he's the one that summoned all of us to come over here at this point. So we also have the pixie in there, and then it shows Yeshitola. I think that's actually Master Matoya. To be honest, I really think that Master Matoya took over her body while she's gone floating around doing whatever she's doing in the meantime. So they got new side story, role action stuff, or role action quest, because going over level 70, you're gonna have a new role action quest for each of the different types of jobs. So they're grouping it up by tanks, tanks, melee DPS, magical ranged, healers, and then they also have this other person at the end. Once you get to level 80, that you're gonna have this extra quest on top of that. I'm almost thinking that this is the new Matt from Final Fantasy XI. That's what I think. People from Final Fantasy XI will know exactly who Matt is. He's the person that actually knew everybody's job, and he was like this badass person that you had to fight at one point. Okay, so another thing we're doing in here, so it goes over the different job quests. Once you get level 80, it's probably unlocking like the last like mega ability that you have on there. But nothing in here is really helpful other than the NPC where it starts from. Crystarium deliveries have been added. So this is going to be the equivalent of the other deliveries that you do in the source. But this is going to be in the first. And I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work. They have this different board up here. But it does say you have to have Inscrutable Taste completed first, because obviously you're going to be turning in collectibles. So why wouldn't you have collectibles unlocked to begin with? That's kind of a given. So it shows the quests, like where it starts that you have to go through. It shows all the different crafting classes, where that quest starter actually is, and then on from there. It also shows miner and botanist in here too, which I thought was kind of weird. Let's go back up to this. So you have to be level 70 to start them. So that automatically gets so that gets unlocked the second that you walk in. As long as you complete that quest right there. Okay. Alright, that makes sense. To support new returning players, adjustments have been made to the rewards for certain main scenario and side job. That's pretty much saying that they probably boosted experience points for all that stuff. New levies have been added to Disciples of Hand and Land. Tradecraft and Fieldcraft levy quest rewards will be significantly reduced when using a class at level 70 or above to complete a levy with a level requirement below level 70. Well, yeah, that kind of makes a little bit more sense too. So you couldn't abuse them. So this talks about the fates. There's going to be a currency that can be exchanged with the Gemstone Trader NPCs. They show a picture of one of the NPCs. They also show this chart underneath. It looks like as long as you get like the maximum, like the top level, it looks like as long as you get the top level contribution, you're going to get that medal right there and also get like a little pink emblem right next to it. But it has to be different fates within the zone, it looks like. So in each one, it looks like what, six different fates inside the zone? Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then also looking at this, that looks like there's 2 other zones to be added to the game before 5.0 ends. All right, next they talk about treasure maps, how there's going to be 2 new treasure maps that are going to be added. Rewards for Wyvern skin maps and Ghana skin maps have been adjusted. I have no idea what that's going to be meaning. Maybe drops are going to be increased since that's old content at this point. Who knows? And then this extra thing on there, players will now be synced to level 70 when entering Lost Canals of Unazar and Hidden Canals and the Shifting Altars. So that's a thing. I thought one of those you had to be level capped at level 60 for some reason. I didn't understand. But it's good that they're lifting the cap up so that more people can jump in there. Additional items will now be accepted for supply and provisioning missions. Well, obviously, when the level cap goes up, you have to be able to drop off items over at your free, or not at the free company, but the grand company. That's going to go up. I don't remember this being a thing before, but it says the display of submersible parameters has been adjusted. Is that also on airships too? Don't know if that's a thing because that bonus column, I don't remember seeing that before. All right, and then it says Blue Madge, Gunbreaker, Danger Jaw symbol options have been added to the company crest. That's kind of cool. Housing, new items have been added from the furnishing design contest. That looks kind of cool with like the paintings or the window frames of the stained glass there. That looks really cool. That almost looks like it might be outside, but no, that's inside actually. Yeah, that is inside. And then that picture of titanium. That's awesome. All right, new estate tags have been added. Preview function has been added. They went over that before in a previous live letter, I think. The restriction on exterior fixtures based on housing order has been removed. Now players can use exterior fixtures associated with any district on their estate. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. That's kind of cool. Help interface will now display when speaking to a resident caretaker about housing features. Crafting facilities can be used by crafting classes up to level 70. That's cool. I kind of thought that those were restricted to level 50 as being the most useful that they could be. But that's cool that it goes up to level 70. Accordance to increase character level cap, level 80 Crystarium striking dummies have been added. I wonder if that looks like it's for like the yard that you can place it in. It doesn't look like it's just in the Crystarium areas. New orchestration roles have been added. New aquarium fishes have been added. A new seed for flower pots has been added. These look kind of cool, actually. I don't have a house, but I'm almost thinking that I would get these just to plant them in like an apartment or something. That's kind of cool. Mandrill Golden Saucer, new prizes, new cards, new NPCs for Triple Triad. Players can now engage in Triple Triad matches in new areas. Mahjong there's been some stuff that they've already announced before. An image of your character will now be displayed. You can reset your rank. Display of calls can be canceled by right-clicking on your mouse. Auto-declare a winning hand. When the options to declare it running. So there's no... The hardest thing for this was it took so long for this to actually play out, it felt like 30 minutes per game. And even then, if you would get 0 MGP for even trying, that sucked. That sucks for wasting all your time doing that to try to play and try to learn if you're getting no benefit in the meantime. That I really hated that. All right, what else do we got here? Players can now select Hrothgar or VR races. They added more to the sightseeing log, and now they can be completed as any job class. What else? They talk about the fate that they removed and what it got replaced with. It looks like the same thing in 5 different regions. Okay, so what they did was they just removed the 5 different regions part, and they just wanted you to complete 5 fates with the highest rating possible, and that's it. So there's like in the first one, and then complete 10 fate with the highest rating possible. So it kind of doesn't really look like they did much. Could have already had this to begin with, like, completed. So I wonder if, because they're taking this away and they're adding it in, that it's not going to actually see any that have been completed up to this point if you complete 4 for this first one and wait for the patch to actually roll in and then do the extra one to get the bonus off of it. I don't think it's going to do that. All right, what else do we got here? Chloe's bronze certificates of commending have been added as rewards for completing Wondrous Tales. These certificates can be exchanged with Chloe for a number of unique prizes. I'm assuming they're going to be more mounts. Who knows? It might be like exclusive items that you need for crafting, special gear. That would get more people to actually do Wondrous Tales a little bit more. I know I don't do them. Skywatcher NPCs have been added to the new areas. It's only going to take a matter of time before people figure out what weather conditions are actually going to occur over in the first. Right now, I only thought you could only have sunlight. I didn't think there were other weather conditions that you could have out there. New emotes have been added. New hairstyles have been added. This first one, it looks like the Warrior of Light. Or Warrior of Darkness, whatever he is. He's just the warrior. It looks like the haircut that he wears all the time. I don't know about the straight haircut thing. I'm assuming that was in a contest or something, and it won. So they finally added it to the game. All right, battle system. So this is saying that the level cap has been raised to level 80. That's a no-brainer. That should be assumed at this point. Since it's a new expansion, everybody's been talking about that. It's a thing. It's a thing. Gunbreaker and Dancer jobs have been added. So they talk about that, where do you unlock them. They actually tell you the NPC that you actually have to stand in front of or not the NPC, but the actual coordinates to actually stand if you want to unlock those when the servers go live. So that's kind of cool. What else we got in here? New job actions have been added. Substantial revisions have been made to the battle system. I think that's talking about the tanks in particularly. One thing I did notice about some of the previous notes that they released was that because I main Black Mage, they took away our enmity regeneration. So it's like tanks have to focus more on getting hate, or maybe it's not so difficult for a tank to get hate anymore. Umbral Ice now also reduces the MP cost of ice spells. But nobody really used ice spells to begin with. Enmity gain for certain healing actions has been reduced to improve player usability. Time frame within which players must execute actions to continue or complete combos has been extended. I'm thinking that's probably to help out people that use ninja to get those ninjutsus in. Fixed set of role actions has been assigned to all jobs. Yeah, they were talking about the ability squish that they were going to do, since they're going to get new abilities from 7080. Following adjustments have been made to limit breaks. Healer actions have been reduced. No longer fill when non-healer jobs use healing actions. I didn't know that was a thing. The rate at which limit break gauge fills in new areas while taking damage from certain enemies under certain conditions has been reduced. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought a lot of it was based off of your crit ability, your crit stat. The interrupt effect has been added. So this actually looks kind of cool. Like, it actually gives you the cast bar, which I thought was a thing before that they had. But it all, like, that cast bar also serves as your time frame that you can actually interrupt it with interject or head graze. So that's a thing. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Charged actions have been implemented. So this is going over all the different charge actions that they were showing in one of the other live letters, which was pretty cool. So one thing to note in here, it says restarting a duty will fill all charged actions to maximum. So what happens when you die? I don't think it talks about that. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about when you die. So that'll be a thing. We'll find out. Certain weapon skills and spells will now have unique cast timers. So it shows the cast timer that goes on the right here. There's a little circle that spins around. I don't know if I might need to make my buttons bigger or if they're fine with the size that they are right now. We'll find out. We'll find out if we have to change our HUD in the future. And pet actions have been removed. Pets can no longer be targeted by player or enemy actions. Pets will no longer be displayed in the party list. So I wonder if they're just going to have infinite HP at that point and then just be there as long as the owner is still alive. I wonder if that's going to be a thing. Player attributes have been adjusted as follows. TP has been removed. Maximum MP for all jobs, so it's been fixed at 10,000. The effective piety has been changed from increasing maximum MP to increasing MP regeneration rate. So I was wondering, now I think about this. Oh, this attribute only affects healer classes and jobs. Okay, so it doesn't affect like black mage or red mage at this point, or even blue mage. Parrying and blocking is now less effective in reducing damage. In accordance to the changes to player attributes, the effects of certain monsters and NPC actions have been adjusted. Party bonus effects have been adjusted. So players will now receive 1% increase to health, vitality, dexterity, mind, and intelligence for each unique roll in their party, up to a maximum of 5%. So I think this goes on with like the meta thing where you want or you have like your tank rolls, your melee rolls, your physical range, your magical range, and then your healer at this point. So I'm sure that this is probably going to fall into the meta. So you can't run with like one tank and like 5 DPS with 2 healers or whatever combination. Expect to have like your time in there to go a little bit smoother than normal, unless you're over geared for the thing that you're fighting, like you see in DF all the time, or PF. The 100% increase in XP gain granted by Armory bonus, this applies to all jobs below level 70. So it's not saying anything about any of the other jobs, like the new jobs, Gunbreaker and Dancer. But I don't remember what level those start off on. Level 60, 70, or what? Alright, in accordance to the increase in level cap, bonuses for new worlds and preferred world are now acceptable up to level 69. So they give a link where they talk about that. New dungeons have been added. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that looks like 4 dungeons. There might be more that they're hiding. Remember, these are prelim patch notes. They're not the actual patch notes themselves. XP chain bonus in instance dungeons has been removed. This is probably so that we can't pull everything to each gate and then AoE everything all down at the same time. That's been taken away probably. The trust system has been added. So this is the thing that I think is a good thing, but it's going to be super abused on day one. To be honest, a lot of people are probably going to be abusing this and try to use this to try to go through the dungeons as they want to through the main scenario, because from what I understand is all the dungeons are tied to the main scenario. Like you have to go through the main scenario to actually get to the next dungeon. So people are probably going to be queuing this up instead of actually going into Duty Finder and actually waiting for a party to form. Looking through this, there's always this 6 slot that's available right there. I wonder who's going to be the next tank, because it looks like there's 1 tank, 2 DPS, 2 healers at that point. I wonder who the next person's going to be. Like, it has to be another tank. Like, who's it going to be? It's probably going to be somebody from the end of the game. Like, honestly. So that they don't spoil, like, the hype behind this. So that's probably a thing. Level sync, or item level sync, has been applied to certain instance quest battles. Well, yeah, because you don't want level 80 going into level 70 dungeons. In accordance to the level cap increase, players can now gain experience from level 70 dungeons and 4.x Alliance raid dungeons. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't think it's going to be as much as actually doing like a level 80 thing, but that's actually kind of cool. So they go over the trials that are actually going to be added into the game. So this top one, Titania, that looks like it's been something that's been already announced already. But this one underneath, this guy looks different. I don't know. He's probably the end boss of one of the dungeons in the main scenario that they just turned into one of like an extreme or something. The echo will be applied to all 4.x trials. The strength of the echo granted in Omega Alphascape Savage has been increased. So that goes up to the maximum of 20% whenever you die after a certain amount of time. Following additions have been made to Allegan Tombstones. Goetta has been added. You can get up to 2,000, I think. Oh, this is the one that doesn't have weekly limits. So you can keep on getting and getting and getting, and there's no cap per week. The secondary currency, Tombstones of Phantasmagoria, will be available approximately 4 weeks after the start of official service for Shadowbringers. So remember, for these first 3 days, it's going to be early access. It's not going to be the actual official service start. And then they talk about the Allegan Tombstones of Mendacity and Genesis. They're no longer obtainable, that they can be turned into Poetics, which I think is... Why aren't they moving over to like the next thing up? Like make Poetics be something else in exchange for... I don't know. Because we've had Poetics for a long time. Allegan Tombstones of Creation have been removed from the game. Hopefully you've moved those over to a different currency at this point before you've lost them. Players can now use undersized party option to participate in duties introduced after the release of Stormblood. The undersized party option cannot be used to undertake the Great Hunt or the Great Hunt Extreme. The Raid Finder now only lists trials and duties introduced in patch 5.0. However, the Unending Coil of Bahamut Ultimate and the Weapons Refrain Ultimate can still be accessed via the Raid Finder. And then this next section shows like all the different rewards that you can get for the different roulettes whenever you get those unlocked. Duty Finder categories have been adjusted. Daily Roulette 50-60 has now been changed to add 70 in there, so it's level 50-60-70. The type of Allegan Tombstones received from the Duty Roulette category has been adjusted, and that shows you like the Goetta, the Poetics, everything that's in this patch. I'm sure when we get the next patch, Poetics is just going to be out of there. It's going to be moved over, or Goetta is going to move into Poetics, and then Phantasmagoria is going to go where Goetta is. And then next up, they talk about the different they show the different monsters in there. And then they also talk about the weekly restriction on receiving cracked clusters upon clearing the monastery has been removed. I didn't really pay attention to see if that was a thing. I noticed that like I kept on having a whole bunch of cracked clusters, but I didn't really do anything with them. So I have like 80, 90 of them at this point. So hopefully they're still worth something after the patch. So elite marks have been added. So those things are kind of interesting to look at. Alright, players can now hunt regular and elite marks in new areas. Just have to go through a quest to unlock those. And then the reward that you're going to get from them is sacks of nuts. I'm sure that's going to make sense with the quest, that you're going to get sacks of nuts. But that does make sense since it's a different area. It's not going to be the same area that had the previous hunts to begin with. So that'll be something different. Right down here, notification. So this is going to be with any hunt that you get. So when you are in the presence of a powerful mark, if you see that on the screen, you have an S rank in your current area. So it gives another one for B ranks. And then when they're defeated, it also shows another one. So this is kind of cool. That I wonder if it's the whole zone or if it's like in your immediate area that you have to be. All right, Centrino seals have been increased from 1,000 to 4,000. Mark bills for Realm Reborn and Heaven Resort areas can now be used to open maps for their respective areas. Okay, I wonder if that means like the treasure maps or what exactly that's trying to do at this point. All right, let's move on. The following additions have been made to Deep Dungeons. Palace of Dead, items yielded from the sacks have been adjusted. Gunbreaker and Dancer arms are now available. Heaven on High, same thing. Items have been adjusted, and you can get Dancer and Gunbreaker arms. The Lawns, an expansion of Stone, Sky, and Sea. So pretty much the thing to actually test your DPS that they put in the game to see if you think you qualify. There's air quotes around that. For a particular dungeon, those have been added. So that's kind of cool to see. So those are going to probably be the two different trials that we have at this point. And let's see here. So in Eureka, Logos actions have been changed since TP is not a thing anymore. They removed it. It's gone. PvP, I don't play this, so we're just going to skip this. Looks like what? TP has been removed. MP has been recovery has been whatever. I don't play PvP, so we're just gonna skip that. All right, new items have been added. So because there's a long list of new items and recipes to be added to the game, they're not going to list that until the final patch notes come out. So it's not in this set. Certain items may now be sold, descents submitted as expert deliveries and converted into materia. That was actually one thing I wanted, like for the longest time, because there's some items that are actually inside my inventory that I can't convert, I can't sell, I can't do anything with them. They're 100% spirit bond, but I can't do anything with them. Certain items can no longer be sold. That's, well, they do that every single patch, I think. The sale prices of certain items have been changed. Main attributes of accessories have been adjusted in accordance with the rebalancing of the battle system. Okay, with this one, is it only anything over level 70 or like level 71 and higher, or is it like everything? Because I could understand doing everything, but that seems like it would be a long time that they would have to go through all the different items. The main attribute of the Aetheryte earring, thing that you get from early access ordering, when equipped by a tank, has been changed from vitality to strength. That's probably, so that's like an indication that they did change the formulas, the damage formulas up, especially for tank. So now it's probably based a little bit on strength and vitality instead of just vitality itself. The haste attribute on certain equipment is now displayed with a plus sign rather than minus sign. I didn't know that that was actually a thing. I thought that was only a thing that dancers could actually put on their partners, their dance partners. But that's kind of interesting if you can put that on. Or is that a materia? Huh. Yeah, it says 2.x on it, so maybe that's something that's new to the game. New items available for exchange for achievement certificates have been added, so that's like all the different achievements that you get throughout the world. You can go to this guy inside Old Gridania, and I think his name is Jonas or Johans or something like that, and actually get some items from him. At one point I think they changed it from direct achievements equated to like certain rewards to like you get so many points per reward, and then you can go to him and just get what you want. Gunbreaker and Dancer jobs have been added for certain gear. Following adjustment has been made to materia melding. When materia fails, it is now possible to immediately reattempt the meld, so long as more of the same materia is present in inventory. That's kind of cool. If that's like an immediate button press, that'd be cool. Like I could just keep on spamming that more over and over and over again instead of having to like fail, get out of that window, press the button left, Press the button to activate and do it again and keep on going through that. That sucked. The following attributes can no longer be improved via materia, strength, dex. So all the main attributes, can't do that anymore. I like this. After watching it the first time, it is now possible to skip the cutscene when requesting materia transmutation from Mutamix in Central Fan. That's cool. I'm glad they did that finally, because it's painful to watch over and over and over again, even though it takes a long time to actually put all 5 of those materia in to try to get a new one. Alright, so then this next section is talking about how main stat materia is not a thing anymore. It's just gone. Just completely gone. Desynth cap has been raised. And then, so the individual class cap, and they talk about the cumulative skill cap. So those have been raised. The level cap of Disciples Hand to Land has been increased to level 80. Elemental aspects have been removed from the synthesis recipes. Yeah, nobody I know used them. It just was something that was just not really used ever, which is really weird. Is they took all those away, but they added them back in a different way, which is odd. So they took all those away and add like brand of elements, name of elements, preparatory touch, which that seems new. Rapid synthesis, that's new. Probably guess what those do. Reuse. I wonder if that's an equivalent of reclaim that gives you like a higher percentage to actually get all your materials back instead of, or some of your materials back instead of none of your, or like go up to RNG gods and like pray for that. Delicate synthesis, intensive synthesis, trained eye, trained instinct. Some of those have got to be specialist actions. There's no way that those can be there for everybody. I don't think they're there for everybody. So this goes into something that's available to all classes, Steady Hand and Brigade's Blessing. That was actually a thing, and that's actually a good thing. That's super good. I'm glad you don't have to be level, like for Brigates, you don't have to be level 50 in Carpentry just to get that. Or Steady Hand, I think that was from being a goldsmither. Or the leatherworker. I'm glad you don't have to be definitely that before you get them. That you can be any job class. That's cool. So it goes over the elemental abilities that are taken out of the game, and then it goes over the abilities that have been added to the game, which are for the crafting classes. Which some of it seems like it's probably Heart of seems like it's probably a specialist ability. Inner Quiet, that doesn't really make sense to me, because wasn't that a thing before? Like you got 12 stacks and then you moved on from it? Like that was the most steps you could get? I don't know. Who knows on that one? So it goes over the adjustment made to the crafting logs pages. So it shows the max you can get is 50% quality whenever you try to make a recipe. So that's kind of cool, actually. It tells you. But at the top of the screen, it also says at 100% efficiency. It tells you how much it's actually going to increase based on progress or quality at that point. I wonder if it shows those, if it keeps on incrementing those up as you get like more quality, because that stat actually goes up as you get more and more stacks of Inner Quiet. All right, and let's see here. Yeah, so this screen, this is the crafting screen at this point, where it shows all the different things that you have enabled at this point. So there's 2 stacks of Inner Quiet, there's 7 stacks of Comfort Zone. It's set up as a collectible synth, and they have 3 stacks of Steady Hand 2 left. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that they show it like that, because to be honest, moving the, like seeing all the different abilities that you have on this when you're crafting, I have this set up on different locations for like my different alts, so it kind of gets confusing for me. If it's all in one area like this actually makes it super easy to understand. All right, and next up, Calculations for increases to assuming base quality have been adjusted in accordance. The difficulty of certain recipes found in Master Recipes 5 and Master Recipes 6 has been reduced. So that's going to be a thing. So some of those recipes are going to be a little bit easier to craft now. I'm sure that Master Recipes 7 and 8 are going to be a lot harder. And then it's only a matter of time before those get macroable. Because I go to Final Fantasy Realms to actually see what the next round of macros is. I use them a lot. I would highly suggest going over there, taking a look at them. Next up, it says the new actions and traits for Disciples of Land have been added. So it just goes over that. It looks like the same things. Yeah, it looks like the same exact thing. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, that, whatever. That's whatever. Fishing's just different. It's just different. New miner and botanist gathering points have been added. Yeah, there's new zones. Of course you're gonna have that. Not to mention the extra folklore stuff and the time node stuff that you're gonna get. Not to mention the collectible stuff that you can desynth or ethereal reduce. New fishing holes. What else? Spearfishing. New tomes of regional folklore have been added. Yup. New items that can be used for ethereal reduction have been added. Yup. Just got done saying that. The amount of items received from ethereal reduction has been adjusted. So everything that has been marked down, it's just going to be a new learning curve at this point. It's going to be completely different. So I think this marks the third time that's been changed. More fishing things, gathering logs, been adjusted. Entries related to regional folklore are now categorized by region. Gathering location and time information will now be displayed for any items successfully gathered from undiscovered or hidden gathering points. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of alarm system that's actually going to be set up in the game. So like if you want to go after a certain node, that's going to appear at a certain time. If there's going to be alarm on that, or if you still have to use external web pages to actually notify you of that actually creeping up. Gathering time information will now be displayed for any item successfully gathered from inferior gathering points. A timer indicating when the item will be next available for gathering can now be created for any item successfully gathered from an oh, that is cool. So that does answer that then. Players above level 70 will now receive a maximum of 10,000 experience points when trading collectibles of level 71 star or lower. Oh, okay. I get it. That makes sense now. Okay, so all those, like when you're looking to donate collectible stuff, the max that it can have a bonus, or max XP that you can receive for that is 10,000. Nothing's ever going to go over that. As long as it's 71 star or lower. 72 star or higher, it could go beyond 10,000 XP. Well, if that's a thing, are they adjusting the experience points that you need for leveling regular jobs from level 1 to level 70 at that point? The amount of XP received from delivering collectibles as a level 60 to 70 gatherer has been increased. The following additions and adjustments have been made to gatherers and crafter scripts. So they're going to have white scripts as being the new one that you can have a maximum of 2,000 at any time, but you can keep on getting as much as you want. So I'm thinking that's going to be the new base currency that you're going to be able to get each job specific armor for. So they're probably going to go back to each crafting class actually has different high-end gear. And they're talking about how red crafters and gatherers scripts are no longer attainable. They talk about how it can be now exchanged for yellow. Blue crafter scripts and gatherers have been removed completely. So get rid of them immediately or you lose them. The amount of yellow crafters gather script required in exchange for items has been adjusted. So yeah, that's gonna be it's just gonna move down incrementally, and then I'm sure it's like all things are gonna be a little bit easier to get since it's old content at this point. The amount of crafter gatherer scripts received from delivering collectibles has been adjusted, so that's probably a nice way of saying that they moved them up. Level 70 arms, gear, and accessories have been added to the inventory of vendors in Kugane. So I wonder if there's going to be different versions of level 70 gear that'll help you get through the story quest and the first dungeon so you can start gearing up. I wonder if that's going to be a thing. At least for now. That would make sense, actually. Instead of having to buy the craftable set at this point to actually get your eye level as high as possible. New items have been added to the inventory of Calamity Salvagers. Yeah. New mounts have been added. That dragon one looks kind of cool. I want that dragon one. Triceratops. No, I don't. But that dragon one looks cool. Flying mounts. Mounts that couldn't fly before. Barding. Minions. Keyboard has been added to the Crystarium. That's really cool, but how do you, like, lore-wise talking, how do you communicate between the two different worlds at that point? And how do you... Yeah, I don't think that really makes sense, but whatever. Whatever. It's a thing. Plus, you don't want to alienate the new players from stuff on the auction house at that point, or the market board. The following adjustments have been added to retainers. Retainers can be now registered to Crystarium. You can select the new races for retainers. Hairstyle and paint obtained as rewards can now be applied to the retainers. Retainer level cap has been raised to level 80. Yep, was expecting that. I have a whole bunch of ventures waiting for that to happen. Retainers can now be assigned Gunbreaker and Dancer jobs. Yep. Pretty much going over, like, you have to be that job at that level for them to be able to be that level. You have to reset their job if they are that level. Retainers must be disabled with level 60 or higher. Players must be at level 60 or higher in the job that they wish to assign the retainers. Oh, level 60. I thought it had to be level cap, or it matched your level. New objectives have been added to delivery missions and exploration ventures. That's cool. So that they can go out there and gather materials for you for crafting, gathering, whatever you needed. Exploration ventures are now displayed with the highest level ventures first. Oh, so they reversed the list now. That's cool because I never used the bottom list or the level 1 version or whatever that's called. I have to go through all of those just to get to the higher level ones. The retainer interface has been redesigned and selections can now be reordered. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this is about. I just have to see it and play around with it to be sure. It just doesn't... I don't know. It doesn't click in my head yet. Oh, it shows how much gil it has in the inventory. Wait, inventory? It shows what job and what level it is. That makes sense. It says it's selling different items. And then it says it's an adventure. Okay, so this is a good window to actually have, actually. That's cool. Retainer animations upon being summoned and dismissed have been adjusted to increase the responsiveness of the interface. The color of the retainer template nameplates have been changed to that of NPCs. I didn't notice. I never noticed. I don't think I cared, to be honest. New achievements and titles have been added. The following additions and adjustments have been added to achievements. Certain categories have been adjusted. Achievements can now be selected via subcommand, reordered at watch list. Achievements can now be filtered by completion status or type of reward. Clicking on an achievement in the relevant category will no longer automatically open its primary category. Yeah, that was a big thing. I hated that. I hated that happened. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the recommendation window. To be honest, I never really used this before. and I don't think I really will. That is kind of a cool thing that they actually added a window lock, so it can be locked at all times. But I don't really use it, to be honest. I might, but I don't right now. Let's leave it at that. The addition to Party Finder. Not sure what this means. So if it's, I wonder if that's making a link so that other people in your chat channel can actually read it and click on that and just jump in immediately, or what at that point? Or does it make a separate chat channel on its own that people can talk in? We'll need to play with that one. Cross-world party invitation to players on other worlds can now be issued via the chat log. That looks kind of cool. That would be really cool, to be honest. I wonder how that's going to play out. So if I want to run a 4-man dungeon, if I want to run it, but I have 2 other people that are on 2 completely different servers, I can just invite them without having to put up like a duty finder or party finder thing with a password on it. That would be cool. That would be super cool. Following adjustments have been added to the party list. It shows HP increases granted by barriers. Party list now indicates that when maximum HP has been reduced. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. I think they showed it in a live letter before, but that's really cool. Battle animations for allied NPCs in quest battles will now always appear. I didn't know they didn't always appear. These effects cannot be disabled via settings in the chat or character configuration interface, but this adjustment will be considered in future patches for all existing quest battles prior to 5.0. The amount of glamours that can be stored in the glamour dresser has been increased. Yeah, they talked about that before. The amount of glamour plates has been increased. Yeah, they talked about that before. The following changes have been made to group pose. The trust system NPCs will now be included in group pose at the time of duty completion. That's cool. Trust and squadron NPCs will now repeat their most recently executed action upon duty completion. Oh, so they didn't forget about the squadron NPCs. That's good to know. That is really, really good to know. Recordable duties have been changed. 2 Shadowbringer trials are now available in the duty recorder. So that's Titania and then that other Sin Eater guy. A target's HP can now be displayed in increments of 0.1% when it has less than 1% HP remaining. Yeah, that's something that they showed off before, so that's a thing. The UI's color scheme can now be set to either dark or light. To be honest, that light looks like it hurts my eyes, so I'm going to keep it on dark. No doubt about that. In accordance to the level cap increase, the conditions that must be met to set your status as a new adventure has been adjusted as follows. Have not completed. Oh, so it's just a different quest at that point. Coinciding with the increased level cap, the requirements for new mentors have been adjusted. Yeah, they had a live letter go across this too. I like that this requirement's actually going up. It's going to weed out some of the people that don't want to be mentors or shouldn't be mentors to begin with. So hopefully that's going to be a thing. If not, there's going to be some people that are probably going to be going through what they need to in order to get like either the little gavel or like for crafting jobs, gather jobs, or even the little crown for battle jobs. But only time will tell on that one. So cross-world link shells have been increased from 1 to 8. That's a thing. So that's kind of cool. So that's probably going to help out with hunts. To be honest, I don't know how they're going to keep it under what the max number that you can have in there. I think it's 256 or 255. You can have more than that, but only 255 are going to be allowed in that chat channel to begin with, and it's only first come first serve. DualShock 4 and other game pads that have a vibrate function will now vibrate when Duty Finder matchmaking is completed. That's kind of cool. Following additions and adjustments have been made to cutscenes. The text relating to the formation disbanding of a party member no longer will appear if a cutscene is in progress. That would be good, because immersion is a thing. The manner in which dialogue selections are displayed has been changed. Now, this screenshot, I don't know if you can see it 100% clearly right here, but this is different than what it was before, and I kind of like that, to be honest. That looks cool. I like that they're updating the UI on that. The position of the letter, or identifying letter next to the focus target name, has been changed. I thought that was always on the left. I didn't think that was on the right. Huh. Shows how much I pay attention. Following adjustments have been made to the map. There are now separate toggle icons to turn map text and map icons on and off. Certain quest objective icons have been changed to indicate elevation. So on this picture right here, it shows the quest icon and it has an arrow pointing down. If you look below, the quest objective is below current elevation. That's kind of cool, so that you can know exactly how high up or how far up or how far down you have to go to get to the NPC that you need to. I always hated being in the right location and I'm looking around and I don't see the NPC, and I'm like, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? And finally I get to that after, like, I don't know, a couple of minutes, probably like 30 seconds or 15 seconds of looking around, but I eventually get there. This one, job gauge details have been revised. Is it only for the main screen one, or is it also for like the condensed version also? Be interesting to find out about that. The order in which character names are displayed has been adjusted in accordance with changes made to pets. I don't think pets actually show up on that party list anymore. Being that, do chocobos show up as people in your team also? The battle and other tabs of the currency window have been revised. Yeah, because there's different tombstones at this point. The unlimited setting under frame rate limit in the display settings has been replaced with a maximum 90 frames per second setting. I think I saw somewhere else that there was a post on Reddit that was saying how anything higher was a way that people could go out of bounds. So if they limited it at 90 frames per second, that took that ability away. I'm not gonna pretend that I know exactly how that works, because I don't, and I don't want to know how you go out of bounds in this game. I don't want to go to GM jail. Additions have been made to the system configuration interface theme settings. So I wonder if that's like the light and dark mode that you get to see in what they showed above. Settings that have been removed from the character configuration interface. So it goes over all that stuff, which I didn't really care to begin with. Additions that have been made to the character configuration interface. Yeah, whatever. Additions and adjustments that have been made to the keybind menu. So this is actually kind of interesting. I wonder. I didn't really ever use the keybind menu very much, but I'm going to look at this now whenever I get back in game. I'm really interested in the cross-world chats at this point, or cross-world link shells. That's really interesting. We'll have to play with that as soon as it comes out. So these are the text commands, so you can go into the cross-world link shells. More than likely somebody's going to type /CWL and then the number that they want to go into. There's no way that they're going to type the long way out. All right, so they go over all the text commands that they added, removed. So that's a thing. Additions have been made to the auto-translate dictionary. Additions have been made to the PlayStation 4 autocomplete dictionary. New music added. Yep. In order to reduce server congestion upon the release of patch 5.0, the following measures will be implemented temporarily. We will continue to monitor server activity and remove these features when server congestion is determined no longer to be an issue. Players who are inactive for 30 minutes will be logged out automatically. New areas will be split into multiple instances. This was a thing before too, where I had my character walk into a corner of a room, and since the server actually saw me as like running or walking, that's not in activity, so it just let me stay in. Or there's other people that open up the crafting menu, start acting like they're going to craft, but then they walk away, go AFK, and leave their character logged in at that point. I wonder if that's still going to be a thing, or if people are going to be logged out at this point. The following additions and adjustments have been made to character creation. Not sure why anybody wants to do that, since everything's pretty much locked down at this point, unless they add more servers for capacity, which they really probably need to do. Definitely need to do, or open stuff back up like they should be doing, because there's no way Goblin and I think there's another server are like the only servers that you can make characters on. There's no way. Nothing is even as close to have as many characters as Balmong was. Like, it seriously was the beta server to see how many characters you could fit on a server that Square was doing. Like, honestly, there was almost always a queue to actually get into that server every single time I would log in. Characters on accounts with active subscriptions will be prioritized in login queues, so that's not including the people with like free accounts. That makes sense. The support for Mac 64-bit has begun, while support for 32 Mac has ended. That makes sense. Following additions and adjustments have been made along with the release of the 64-bit Mac version. Auto translate function is now available. Previously sent messages can now be displayed. I wonder if this is going to be like another Mac client where they're just going to put it in a wrapper and have that wrapper act as an emulator, or if it's actually native at this point. So Square Enix account passwords can now be saved on the PlayStation 4 launcher. With the people scamming Final Fantasy username and passwords through links that make it look like a Square Enix site, I wonder if this is really a good thing or not, or because I understand that you already have to have a password on the PlayStation login one, but I'm totally not sure about that. The title screen logo and opening movie has been changed to those of Shadowbringers. That's cool. And lastly, Gunbreaker and Dancer have been added to solo rankings for Palace of Dead and Heaven on High. Yeah, so there's a good chunk. A lot of the meat and potatoes they are saving until the servers go down and they're patching them. What is today? Today is Wednesday, so tomorrow night is when they're going to be patching them. It's going to be fun. Hope to see you guys all there. This has been Snowflake.